explain some of the grading and where your marks come from in visual art. This is a question that I've been getting a little bit about where our marks are coming from, and so I'm just going to take a little bit of time here to let you guys know just some information on the curriculum and what exactly happens when we do our grading. Okay, so I'm going to try to make this as concise and as quick as possible. So we have 4 areas of our curriculum. So we have making, we have creating, we have connecting, and responding. And so within those areas, we have curriculum outcomes. So within the making area, we have 3 areas that we evaluate, M1, M2, M3. And then the creating, CR1, CR2, CR3, connecting, 1, 2, 3, and responding, 1, 2, 3, 4. So you are evaluated in art on those 13 outcomes again and again. So we evaluate those outcomes in different ways, and we also reevaluate those outcomes because our learning is ongoing and we are constantly improving on what we're doing. So they're called recursive learning. So that's my big word for you guys. Anyways, so there's specific things within that M1, that M2, and that M3. I'm not going to go over those right now because that's a whole bunch of information, but you will see when you get your rubrics for each particular project that they'll be elaborated on. If we're evaluating something for M1 that day, then there will be something that describes what we're looking for under M1. Okay, I'll show you that in a minute. Okay, so for the 4 areas, the first one is making. So yes, we make art. That seems like the obvious, but what we use is what's called principles and elements of design around our art. And so those are, I'm actually gonna take you on a little tour here of the art room and show you our principles and elements of design sign. Okay, principles and elements of design. Line, shape, form, value, texture, color, contrast, pattern, rhythm, emphasis, repetition, balance, movement, unity. We use these ideas to help to make our art better. And we incorporate these into our work, and then we'll evaluate based on how we have used those within our art. Okay, so that is part of M1, is that we use principles and elements of design when creating our artwork. Secondly, we use art vocabulary, and then we use different mediums to build those skills. When I say mediums, that means like acrylic paint is a medium, watercolor paint is a medium, chalk pastel is a medium. So whatever the tools you happen to be using, those are basically the mediums that we use in art. So that is the first area that we evaluate on. The second area is creating. So that is basically you are generating your own unique ideas to make art. And so there's lots of different ways I go about doing that. The third area is connecting. So we connect our own and others' art to culture, society, and our world. And then the last part is responding. So we talk about our own and others' art, and we write about our own and others' art. So these last two, like this connecting and the responding one, that is a huge part of our media days. So when we are looking at artists and talking about artists and certain artworks, and you guys are writing about that and responding to it and making your comments, then the connecting and the responding area is where we are taking those marks from for the curriculum. Okay, so I'm just gonna pop down here and show you one rubric for a project, just as an example. So basically, as I talked about this, it'll show you the area that we are evaluating. So for making here, for this particular project, we're evaluating M1, M2, and M3. And within each of those, there is a description of exactly what we're looking for within those. So for this one, we are looking for the composition, the texture, the lights and darks, or the value that's replicated in this drawing based on your photograph. So it'll give you more of a description of what is expected for that particular project for that outcome. And then so on. If there's something, this one is also evaluating something under the creating section. Okay, and then the mark is coming from either a thorough to excellent understanding of, or an application of, a good understanding or proficient application of, limited or basic understanding or application of, or not demonstrated. So basically it's a mark out of 4 for each area. So for M1 here, you would get a mark out of 4. For M2, you would also have a mark out of 4, M3, and then this CR3. So those are the areas that are being evaluated for this project. So 4, 3, 2, and then the not demonstrated would be no mark. So that would be a 0 if it's not done in there. Okay, so hopefully that is a little bit more of an explanation on some of the grading.